Greetings, students, and how are you? I hope you are fine and doing well. And welcome back to our channel, Nagin Best Digital Learning. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to do question and answers of this chapter, Father to Son, and we'll do MCQs, long and short answer questions both. Okay, children. Now, this is Father to Son. Think it out, and it is at the back of your chapter. Okay, question number 1. Does the poem, it says, talk of an exclusively personal experience, or is it a fairly universal? कि वो एक पर्सनल चीज़ें की बात कर रहा है कि एक यूनिवर्सल ही ये चीज़ें हैं. The poem Father to Son describes the relationship between a father and a son. The poem क्या describe करती है? एक relationship describe करती है किसके बीच में? Father and son. However, its appeal is fairly universal. ठीक है. और जो ये बात कर रहा है, it is not personal but it is universal. It has been experienced by all the children and all the fathers, all the son. What happens in the poem happens to most of the fathers and sons. और वो बोल रहा है जो भी इस पोएम में फादर के साथ होता है या सन के साथ होता है वो यूनिवर्सली फादर और सन के साथ होता है. इट इज़ वेरी कॉमन इन एवरी फैमिली ऑल ओवर दी वर्ल्ड. और ये चीज़ें काफ़ी कॉमन है, राइट? क्योंकि द जनरेशन गैप, ओके, the generation gap has remained as it is, or generation gap is always like this. Moreover, the structure of society is such that a father expects his son to follow his wishes, leading to individuality clashes. और father हमेशा ये expect करता है son से कि क्या एक्सपेक्ट करता है कि जो फादर हैं जैसे वो लीड करे वैसे ही उनका सन काम करेगा. तो देयर इज़ नो इंडिविजुअलिटी और इसके वजह से देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ क्लैशेस. Through one personal experience, the poet wants to throw light on a common and universal problem. और इसके वजह से जो पोएट है वो क्या दिखाना चाहते हैं? There is a problem of universal, which is a universal problem that is known as generation gap. Now let's move on to the next question. How is father's helplessness brought out in the poet? In the poem, both the father and son are poles apart. Poles apart बहुत एक दूसरे से बहुत different है. Though both of them have lived under the same roof for years, still the father is unhappy and can't understand his own child. और even though कि फादर और सन एक घर के नीचे, एक छत के नीचे रह रहे हैं, राइट? एक घर के अंदर और एक छत के नीचे रह रहे हैं, फिर भी वो क्या है? अनहैप्पी हैं. He wants to build a relationship. Who he here is donated as a father. He here is donated as a father wants to build up a relationship with the son, but there is generation gap between them. They lack of understanding. The नहीं आएगा. The lack of understanding and no communication takes place between father and the son, and there is no communication between the father and the son. The father feels helpless. वो बहुत ज़्यादा helpless feel कर रहे. कौन? Father. And thinks that giving birth to such a son is like sowing a seed in land that has not his own. और वो बोल रहे हैं कि ऐसा ही लग रहा है कि मैंने क्या करा, एक सीड सो कर रहा है, बट उस जमीन पर वो जमीन मेरी ही थी ही नहीं, राइट? ही नोज नथिंग अबाउट हिज ओन सन्स डिज़ायर्स एंड लाइक्स. और उनको उनको अपने सन के डिज़ायर और लाइक के बारे में, पसंद और नापसंद के बारे में पता ही नहीं है. He wishes his prodigal son, a son who spends a lot. जो बच्चा क्या करता है? बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे खर्च करता है. ठीक है, prodigal son would come back home, और वो चाहते हैं कि जो उनका बेटा है, जो उनका prodigal बेटा है, वो पैसे हालांकि खर्च कर ले, बट वो उनके पास क्या आ जाए, वापस आ जाए. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, now question number 3, identify the phrases and lines that indicate distance between father and son. The following phrases and lines bring out the deep difference that separate both of them. I do not understand this child. The following phrases and lines bring out deep differences. ठीक है, उसने बोला कि ऐसी phrases और line बताओ जो indicate करें कि father और distance कितना है. So वो सबसे पहले करते हैं I do not understand this child. हालांकि वो child उनका है तो वो use क्या करते हैं this, which is wrong thing. I know nothing of him. उसका मतलब ये है कि उनको उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है. वी स्पीक लाइक स्ट्रेंजर्स. हम क्या हैं, एक कैसे बात करते हैं जैसे कि हम स्ट्रेंजर्स हों. वॉट ही लव्स आई कैन नॉट शेयर. साइलेंस सराउंड्स अस. ठीक है, देर इज नो साइन ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन दी एयर एंड देर इज नो अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन दी एयर. हम दोनों एक दूसरे को समझ ही नहीं पा रहे हैं. एंड साइलेंस अराउंड अस, जब हम साथ रहते हैं तो वो बोलता है ना, अगर हम साथ भी बैठे हैं तो देर इज साइलेंस अराउंड अस, कोई एक दूसरे को कुछ नहीं बोलेगा. ही स्पीक्स आई कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड, और फिर वो बोलते हैं ही स्पीक्स इन अ वेरी, ही स्पीक्स बट मेरे को वो समझ में नहीं आते बिकॉज देर इज अ जनरेशन गैप बिटवीन देम. Does the poem have a consistent rhyming scheme? No, the poem does not follow any consistent rhyming scheme. See, हालांकि consistent बोला ना, proper, एक जैसा. No, the poem does not have a consistent rhyming scheme. The first two stanzas have the rhyming scheme A B B A B A, whereas the third and fourth line have a slight alteration. The third stanza has ABC ABA, whereas the fourth one has ABBCD rhyme scheme. Okay, अब ABB कैसे होता है, माना कि दो पोइट्री में चिल्ड्रन दो क्या कर रहे हैं, राइमिंग कर रहे हैं. राइट, दो क्या कर रहे हैं, राइम कर रहे हैं. तो उनका क्या करेंगे, उनको ए बी से डिवाइड कर लेते हैं. नाउ वी विल हैव सम मोर क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स विच आर सॉल्व्ड. ओके चिल्ड्रन, ओके. फादर टू सन एक्सट्रैक्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस हैं. रीड द एक्सट्रैक्ट्स गिवन बिलो. एक एक्सट्रैक्ट होता है और उसमें से कुछ MCQs निकालें and answer any two of the question that follow. I do not understand this child, though we have lived together now in the same house for years. I know nothing of him, so try to build up a relationship from how he was when small. So question number 1 is who is I होना चाहिए था children. By mistake it is typed as I. Who is I and this child in the above line? I is the mother. No, mother तो थी नहीं. I is the brother. No, brother भी नहीं था. I is the father and the child is the his son, है ना. तो that means C वाला करेक्ट आंसर है ना, क्योंकि फादर और सन, देखो पोएट्री से ही पता चल रहा है कि फादर एंड सन इज द पोम. राइट. Now let us move to question number 2. What does the speaker complain about? The speaker complains about that he knows nothing about his son. The speaker complains about that he knows a few bad things about his son. The speaker complains that his son does not care of him. The speaker complains that his son is a drunkard. तो कौन सा वाला होगा, ए वाला होगा. कौन सा वाला होगा चिल्ड्रन, ए वाला. द स्पीकर कंप्लेन्स दैट ही नोज नथिंग अबाउट हिज सन, कि उस द स्पीकर बताता है कि उसको अपने बेटे के बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं है. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाट डज द स्पीकर वांट? अब स्पीकर को क्या चाहिए, राइट. द स्पीकर वांट्स टू एंड दिस रिलेशनशिप विद द सन. नो. द स्पीकर वांट्स टू मेक हिज सन रियलाइज हिज मिस्टेक्स. नो. द स्पीकर वांट्स टू लिव विद हिज सन. Yes, it could be. The speaker wants to start a new relationship with his son. तो कौन सा वाला है, D वाला. The speaker wants to start a new relationship with his son. तभी तो वो उसके साथ रहेगा. Right? Next question. Read the extract given below and answer any two of the question that follows. Yet have I killed the seed I spent or sown it where? The land is his and none of mine. We speak like strangers, there's no sign of understanding in the air. This child is built to my design. Yet what he loves I cannot share. What does the father feel? That the seed was sown in the land that was not his, because his son does not care any of the physical features of his father. The son shares physical features of his father. This Because the son does not share any of the behavioral characters of his father, because the son shares some of the behavioral characteristics of his father. The answer is C, because the son does not share any behavioral characters. So the answer is C. The son does not share any behavior characters of his father. Okay. Now next, what is wrong between father and son? उनके बीच में क्या खराब है? ठीक है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Father and son do not resemble each other. ठीक है, ये तो है ही नहीं. Right? Do not, N-O-T, do not resemble each other. Father and son have a dispute related to their property. ऐसा तो कुछ बताया ही नहीं है. Father likes his son but the son likes his mother. ऐसा भी नहीं है, mother का तो कोई जिक्र ही नहीं है. Father and son behave like strangers that do not share any common likes or dislikes. This one, right? Now, question number 3. Built to my design means the son does not look like him. ठीक है, that his son looks like him as far as his physical features are concerned. That his son wears the same brand clothes that he does. That his son wears the clothes designed by him. That is the B one. That his son looks like him as far as physical features are concerned. Read the extract given below and answer any two of the questions that follows. ठीक है. Silence surrounds us. I would have him prodigal returning to. Okay. Now silence surrounds us. I would have, right? Then him prodigal returning to his father's house, the home he knew, rather than see him make and move. His world I would forgive him too, shaping from sorrow a new love. What does silence surrounds mean here? It means silence of the night. It means silence in the house due to switching off electric appliance. It means the silence in the house is due to demise of a loved one. Demise means death. It means the silence due to no conversation happening between the father and the son. The answer is D. The answer is D here. Okay. It means the silence due to no conversation happening between the father and the son. What does T want? I wants his son to study hard. T, it should be I wants his son study. I matlab father wants his son to not follow his wish. I wants his son to be realistic. I wants his son to reciprocate forgiveness and mend the relationship. Okay, so the answer is D, and this is all I. Right? Now, question number 3. Find a word from the extract which means a person who spends money. Prodigal, right? Resources freely and recklessness. Returning, giving back, prodigal. Answer is prodigal. Okay. Now read the extract given below and answer any two of the question that follows. Father and son, we both must live on the same globe and the same land. He speaks, I cannot understand myself why anger grows from the grief. Right? We we each put out on empty hand, longing for something to forgive. Who are we in the extract? कौन है we? We means the father and his son. तो आंसर कौन सा है? C है. Right? आंसर कौन सा है children? C. Okay? तो चिल्ड्रन आंसर क्या है? सी है, राइट? ओके, नेक्स्ट. Why must father and son live on the same globe and on the same land? To take care of each other, to not let others to take advantages of them staying apart, to make their life easy, or to rebuild the relationship? The answer is to rebuild the relationship. Okay, children? Now, next. What does empty hand signify? This signifies poverty of the father? No. It signifies the failure of the father and the son to understand each other. It signifies poverty of the son? No. It signifies bad behavior of the son. The answer is B. It signifies the failure of the father and the son to understand each other. Now, very short 2 marks question. Why doesn't the father know anything about his son, though they have lived in the same house? The father son relationship is actual not functional. Okay, it is not working. Okay, the father doesn't understand the aspirations, okay, longings, arid cravings of the son. They do not communicate with each other and behave like strangers. So, therefore, the father does not know anything about his son. Is the father responsible for the present situation? What are your views? Yes, he says. Yes, I think the father is responsible for the present situation. That they both are not talking, they have generation gap. We do not get to hear the son's version about his relationship with the father here. है ना, क्योंकि वो लास्ट पैराग्राफ में बोलता है तो हमें समझ नहीं आता है कि वो सिर्फ ये बोलता है कि मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ, अपना हाथ बढ़ाना चाहता हूँ, राइट? बट द फादर इज गिल्टी ऑफ अलाउइंग continued silence or non communication between them, and also not understanding the son's aspiration, what he desire to do, what he desires to become, and feelings. Father and the son behave like strangers to each other. What can be the possible reason for this? They both act and behave like strangers due to lack of understanding with each other. A growing son has his always own ambitions and aspiration. Elders must try to act like friends rather than command their children to behave according to their orders. Okay, what does the poet mean by silence surrounds us? The father feels helpless as he has no dialogue with the son, right? वो चाहता है कि उसका son भी बोले. He doesn't understand each other and they are living like strangers to each other. ठीक है, और वो एक दूसरे के साथ कैसे रह रहे हैं? Strangers की तरह रह रहे हैं. In spite their living under the same roof for years. और हालांकि वो अंडर एक ही रूफ के अंदर रहते हैं, एक ही घर पे रहते हैं, बट वो कैसे एक्ट कर रहे हैं? स्ट्रेंजर्स की तरह. दे आउटलुक एंड टेम्परामेंट आर सो डिफरेंट दैट दे रिमेन सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम ईच अदर. They have a communication gap along with the generation gap, which causes the silence, right? Question number 5, children. Let's do question number 5. Let's do what does the father feel when his relationship with his son come under strain, right? Father feels very helpless at this situation when both father and son do not understand each other. It saddens him to understand that he has never tried to understand his son's perspective and his son has distanced himself from him from long. What is father's attitude towards his son in the 3rd stanza? The father wants to rectify the situation in the 3rd stanza. कि क्या problem है, क्या चीज़ें हैं? The father wants his son return to the home that he has left. the father is willing to forgive his son and restart their रिलेशनशिप. तो फादर क्या करना चाहते हैं कि उनका जो रिलेशनशिप है चिल्ड्रन, वो कैसे ना कैसे करके रीस्टार्ट हो जाए. सो दैट इज वाई द फादर इज विलिंग टू फॉरगिव. वो माफ करना भी चाह रहे हैं. ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट डज द फादर विश फॉर? The father is unhappy and helpless. ठीक है, he wants to maintain a healthy relationship with his son, right? So what does he want? He wants to maintain a healthy relationship with his son. The father wants that his prodigal son may return to his home. Prodigal जो बहुत ज़्यादा मनी स्पेंड करता है, तो फादर क्या चाहते हैं कि जो उनका प्रोडिगल सन है वो क्या कर दे, वो घर आ जाए. अगर वो पैसा भी खर्च कर दिया तो ही डज नॉट वांट दैट मनी, ही जस्ट वांट्स कि उसका बेटा घर आ जाए एंड स्टार्ट लिविंग अंडर द सेम रूफ विद हिम. और वो क्या चाहते हैं, दे शुड लिव विद इन द सेम रूफ, under the same roof, okay, in the same house, right? He doesn't want that he should create and live in a world of his own. और वो नहीं चाहते, वो बिल्कुल भी नहीं चाहते हैं कि वो क्या करे, अपना एक कोई अलग सा वर्ल्ड बनाए. ठीक है, next, the father is ready to have his prodigal son return. What inference can you draw from this? Prodigal means wasteful, extravagant. Here the reference is to the story in the Bible, है ना, in which a father gives his inheritance to his two sons. The younger brother leaves waste his fortune. Fortune मतलब जो भी पैसा उसको मिला था, he wastes it and return to his father's home. और वो क्या करते हैं, सारा पैसा वेस्ट करके अपने फादर के घर पर वापस आ जाता है. स्टिल द फादर इज रेडी टू टेक हिम बैक एंड फॉरगिव हिम, इन स्पाइट कि उसके इंस्पाइट कि उसके यंगर सन ने इतना ज़्यादा पैसा वेस्ट किया होता है, राइट? बट द फादर, यू नो, बिकॉज ही लव्स हिज सन, he forgives him, right? In the poem, the father also wants to forgive him so that they, in the poem the father also wants to forgive him so that they live peacefully together again. Okay, now question number 9, the root cause of the generation gap presented in the poem lies in the fact that it is only the father talking to his son rather than hearing or understanding him. One of the reasons for the generation gap is absence of understanding and communication. There is no understanding, there is no communication. Here in this poem we hear only father's point of view. और अब जब हम पोएम पढ़ते हैं ना, तो हम पहले 3 पैराग्राफ में तो सिर्फ, वैसे तो चारों पैराग्राफ में फादर के व्यू पढ़ते हैं, राइट? वी डू नॉट हियर एनीथिंग फ्रॉम सन साइड. और हम क्या करते हैं, वी डू नॉट हियर एनीथिंग फ्रॉम द सन साइड. ठीक है, द रूट कॉज ऑफ द जेनरेशन गैप हैज़ बीन lack of sharing interest and not paying attention to child's emotional needs when he is growing up. The child should be allowed to express his opinions freely and adults should not behave like dictators. Dictators मतलब जो पूरा का पूरा उनकी तरह चीज़ें चले, नहीं, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. द चाइल्ड शुड बी अलाउड टू एक्सप्रेस हिज ओपिनियन, है ना. हर चाइल्ड को क्या करना चाहिए, अपने ओपिनियंस, अपने व्यूज़ सामने रखने चाहिए. और जो अडल्ट्स हैं उनको डिक्टेटरशिप नहीं, उनको समझना चाहिए. ठीक है, नाउ what do the words an empty hand signify? The word empty hand signifies that both the father and the son want to give each other and extend a hand of friendship to each other, है ना. But neither of them is willing to be the first one to do so. वो दोनों फादर सन क्या चाहते हैं कि रिलेशनशिप भी ठीक हो जाए, सब कुछ ठीक हो जाए, तो वो अपना हाथ एक्सटेंड करते हैं. बट क्या होता है, वो पीछे खींच लेते हैं हाथ, कि वो चाहते कि पहले सन चाहते हैं उनका फादर करे और फादर चाहते हैं उनके सन करे. दिस मीन्स दैट ऑल्दो दे आर लॉन्गिंग टू फॉरगिव ईच अदर. इसका मतलब ये था कि वो एक दूसरे को क्या करना चाहते हैं, माफ करना चाहते हैं, बट देयर ईगोज आर कमिंग ऑन द in the way so that none of them wants to be the first one to do so. ठीक है, बट उनका ईगो बीच में आ रहा है, राइट, एंड none of them wants to actually forgive, be the first one to forgive. Now this is 6 marks question that you get in your examination. There will be only rather 2 questions. Okay, children. The poem talks about the universal poem of generation gap. What does such a situation exist? Why does such a situation exist? How can someone avoid such confrontation? Right? Such confrontation, express your views in 120 and 150 words. Generation gap is a psychological and emotional gap between parents or elders and people and the younger ones. This creates misunderstanding. Now, this creates misunderstanding and lack of attachment between parents and children, right? The success of parents lie in how effectively they avoid the generation gap or ignore differences within their children. Generation gap is the result of the fast paced development of society. In earlier times, 2 or 3 generations lived in the same family lifestyle and government as development was slow. Today, parents do not even know many of the modern technologies and equipments that children use. So, there is a generation gap. Being up to date is the only way to cope up. तो इस चीज़ से हम कैसे cope up कर रहे थे, जहाँ पर पेरेंट्स को क्या होना चाहिए, up to date होना चाहिए with the generation gap. Moreover, generation gap occurs when there are difference of opinion. जब बहुत ज़्यादा difference of opinion आ जाता है. One should be flexible in approach and one must try to understand the reason of a particular behavior. In the fast moving materialistic world, parents are busy in earning while their children grow without them giving enough time to them. This is a major factor in creating a generation gap. There should be a balance act on the part of parents discuss. In today's materialistic world, parents, especially fathers, are busy with their careers, finding a very little time for their children. Children is a tender age. Children in a tender age, and the child needs his or her parents in every stage of their growing up. In the pursuit of money or career, children are left at the mercy of caretakers or maids who may provide to fulfill basic needs, but their emotional and intellectual needs are left unfulfilled. Bonding between parents and children keep on diminishing until it reaches an alarming level. Parents need to understand that between career and children, a balancing act has to be practiced. Children need their parents to guide them, to share their likes and dislikes, to spend quality time with them. No parent should allow such a situation where they do not understand their children, or there may be a communication at where there may be no communication children between them. तो उनके बीच में क्या होना चाहिए, नो कम्युनिकेशन, राइट. तो पेरेंट्स को ये अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहिए, राइट, कि देयर शुड बी अ कम्युनिकेशन, देयर शुड बी नो कम्युनिकेशन. Emotional bonding is a must for a family to stay together. और एक emotional bonding क्या होती है, important होती है to stay together. Now next long question. What sort of father and son relationship has been depicted in the poem Father to Son? The poem depicts a father-son relationship which exists in name only. ठीक है, वो बोल रहे कि सिर्फ नाम ही का तो existed relationship. The two have been living together in the same house for years. और वो क्या कर रहे, फादर और सन, ठीक है, बहुत सालों से सिर्फ नाम के एक साथ रह रहे. Even then the father does not understand his son. और इसके बावजूद भी फादर अपने बेटे को नहीं समझ पा रहा है जब वो एक साथ रहते हैं, राइट. ही कन्फेसेस दैट ही नोज नथिंग ऑफ हिज सन. और उसको पता है कि ही नोज नथिंग ऑफ हिज सन. द बॉन्ड ऑफ अफेक्शन बिटवीन देम लाई ब्रोकन. ठीक है, वो प्यार वाला रिलेशन जो होता है वो इट इज ब्रोकन. दे हैव बिकम फॉर्मल जस्ट लाइक स्ट्रेंजर्स. और वो बिल्कुल फॉर्मल हो चुके हैं जस्ट लाइक स्ट्रेंजर्स. ऑल्दो द सन रिजेंबल्स हिज फादर्स फिजिकल डेथ में, क्योंकि जीन सेम है, जैसे फादर दिखेगा वैसे ही तो बेटा दिखेगा. Yet he had his own vision, dreams and aspiration. और फिर बच्चे के बोलते हैं he has his own dreams, he has his own aspiration. He's not homeborn and it is not afraid to venture forth. The the protective father is willing to forgive him for recurring loss of material wealth provided he returns home. The painful experience of lack of communication fills the father with utterless helplessness, anger and grief, gussa or dukh. His efforts to restore the relationship fails as there is no response from the other side. How far has the poet succeeded in transforming a purely personal matter to a universal experience related in modern times? The poem begins in an autobiographical note. जब हम किसी के बारे में लिखते हैं, the speaker, the father, recounts his own experience. वो अपना experience recount कर. He talks about the non-fictional father, son and relationship. He neither understands his son nor knows about anything about him. In spite of living in the same house, the distance between the father and son has increased. There is a lack of communication between them. They either talk like strangers or silence surrounds them. The father is unable to share what the son prefers to do. This distance has reached a too sorrowful limit. Even when the father is willing to shape a new love and build up a fresh relationship, his grief takes the form of anger and they fail to reach any compromise. The maladjustment or growing breakup of relationship is typically of the modern materialistic age. तो ये बता रहा है कि ये जो चीज़ें हैं ये क्या है, मॉडर्न मटीरियलिस्टिक एज पे जाती, ये चीज़ें कहाँ हैं. सो द डिस्टेंस अभी भी ख़त्म नहीं हुआ है, राइट. एंड चिल्ड्रन, जब हम इस स्टोरी को पढ़ते हैं, जब हम इस पोम को पढ़ते हैं, देर आर द की वर्ड्स, ठीक है. दे आर लिविंग इन द सेम हाउस, डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम फादर हैज़ इंक्रीज, लैक ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. तो हर आंसर में आपने देखा ये रिपीटेड जो लाइन्स हैं वो दी गई हैं, राइट. आई होप यू कुड अंडरस्टैंड, डू द क्वेश्चन आंसर्स वेल. Okay, children, thank you very much. Okay, please like, share and subscribe the channel as well as the video. Thank you, children. Thank you so much.